What's up, gang? Getting ready to dig into some of these questions we got from Facebook for the grind life. So get ready to hit some of these questions. Sit back, relax. Hopefully you enjoy the flow in the advice.
All right, we had both Marty Miller and Tyler McLean ask, what does your schedule look like on a daily basis? You're able to accomplish so much at work and still have a great relationship with your wife and kids. How do you find time for all that?
Yeah, so my schedule changes on a daily basis. So I couldn't give you any one thing what my schedule looks like on a daily basis. But what I can tell you is that there's 168 hours in a week. And so, what I've done is I've found how many hours do I think my wife and I need, just us, one-on-one, a week. And it's not a lot. I think that, part of it is finding the right spouse. One of the things for me is I lucked out in not finding an extremely needy spouse. Now, we spend time together. I mean, we date every single week, and so it's not like we just ignore each other at all. But she's just not needy. She's a independent woman, excuse me. So she's an independent woman. I think to really be great, I think you need to find an independent woman. So my wife is independent. She doesn't need a ton, but I found out, what puts us in the rhythm, for us. And, I think if I get that one date night, just us, no kids around, just her and I, once a week, where it's just us talking, typically does us really well. That doesn't mean we don't talk all week long, but that's like the one time where it's just her and I with no kids around, just her and I. And so that, that date night may be, 5 hours, 6 hours between drive time, dinner, driving home, whatever it may be. But there's 168 hours in a week. Then I figure out, well, how many hours do I truly need to spend with my children to make them, feel right, and for me to feel good. Sometimes I'll feel this stuff and I'll just feel like, all right, this 4 days in a row, I haven't really been as much as I need. So let me adjust some things and I'm gonna spend more time with them the next day. But I try to schedule it in and block it in those 168 hours, and I may find like, 18 hours with my kids, be it Sienna or Simon or Amaya. Quality is usually good, feels right to me, and I feel, I think our relationship grows. My daughter and I are super close. I would put it up against a lot of other relationships, that we're tight. When I come home, we're like this. And so, if I spent, 18 hours with the kids out of 168, that's 150 left. If I spent 10 one-on-one with my wife, that's 140 left. If I slept 7 hours a day, call it 50 hours, a week, that's 90 hours left. If I exercised, 10 hours a week, there's 80 hours left. And so I still got 80 hours to grind and work after I did date night, after I spent time with my kids, after I worked out, showered, all that stuff. But it's about scheduling, because so many people misuse, they waste 30 minutes here, hour here, things that are just dumb. Like, I don't have time to sit there and watch TV. I don't watch a lot of television. I'm specific on what time I'm gonna be waking up in the morning, what time I'm gonna be trying to go to bed to make sure that I'm up in the morning. And I try to get a lot of my stuff done early in the morning so it doesn't take time away from my family. So I feel like if I'm training martial arts at 6 o'clock in the morning, everybody's sleeping. I'm not taking any time away from anybody. If I'm hitting the gym at 5:30 in the morning till 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm not really missing any time from anybody. So I had to give up working out from 6 to 8 p.m. I had to give up working out on the weekends like I used to do as much as I wanted to do. And so I think it's scheduling and prioritizing those times to make sure it happens, wiping out dumb stuff that you waste time on in your life, being intentional, and then getting in a rhythm with your spouse and significant other and making sure that they understand how vital their role is. My wife, it's like she's the CEO of the house. So she calls the majority of the plays, from what furniture's getting ordered to, how we should discipline the kids, what we're going to be eating, what's going to be going on at home. I kind of let her be the boss in that area on stuff. And she lets me be the man of the relationship and house, but she kind of runs the household and she lets me run the business. And so she understands that her role is equally as important to mine for the business, that I wouldn't be able to rock the business the way I do if she was nagging me constantly, making me feel horrible constantly. And so that's why I give so much credit, to my spouse. I just think I lucked out. It's pros and cons. Sometimes people, they avoid strong women if they're a strong man because they'll challenge them, But, I kind of lucked out with having a strong woman because she doesn't need, she's not as needy. She needs me and needs me to be a father and be there, but not as needy as a lot of other people I see. So that's my answer.
Brooke Lenora asks, she'd like to know, who are some of your favorite authors, and is there a particular one that inspires you?
Yeah, so it depends on what we're looking for. I have different favorite authors for different things in life. And so my suggestion is, I think we did my 5 favorite books? Yeah. So it was my 5 favorite books in a blog that we released maybe 2 weeks ago or something like that on Simon Arias Official. On Facebook. So if you could find a way to go to my business page, Simon Arias Official, I think that would do your answer justice better than I would right now, just because I don't want to be too long-winded. That blog kind of explains the exact answer to your question. Hope that helps.
So Natalie Kansky asks, we talk a lot about success and what it takes to get there, but she's encountered many people that want success and are not always strong enough to walk the path. How do you use the energy of yours and transfuse it into others so that it translates into persistence and endurance?
Okay, that's a good question, Natalie. So, basically a lot of people say they want greatness, but it's hard for them to stay on the path. How do I get folks to kind of stay on that path, I think is what's being asked. So first of all, I don't. We only see the winners. We see I've been blessed to have a lot of people have some success that I was leading, that I've been leading, but I don't get 100% of them. And so, a lot of it is up to the student and some of it is, up to the teacher. So, I think first off, we got to find the right players. The coaches with the best players typically win. And so I think if you're looking and finding the right players, your success level is going to go up, and then trying to spend your time with the right ones are going to probably be the best investment of your time. But I do think that we've had more success with that. So here's my suggestion. Number 1 is nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. So I think the first step in getting them to move in the right direction is they have to know that you care, and caring about someone needs to be genuine. Most people in life nowadays can tell if you care about them or not. So you have to genuinely care about the people, the person, and then take time out to invest into spending time with them outside of the business to get to know them and their wants and needs and what they like and kind of what makes them tick. The next thing is getting their why, their reason. You have to find out and help them find out what is their reason beyond what you can see. So what do they want to do? If it's sports, what's your goal and why? If it's business, what's your goal and why? What is this person's goal and why? And help them with that. What do they want out of the situation? Why do they want it? And keep asking them why. Don't just settle for one. Why do you want that? Why do you feel that way? Why is that important to you? Keep digging into that why until we find the real reason why they want to do what it is that they want to do. And the best way to motivate somebody is to get them to do something that you want them to do because they want to do it. And so it needs to be because they want to do it, which means it needs to attach to that why. So you have to find out what that reason why is and constantly be reminding them. And then I like to prepare people in advance. So before I get started with people, I'm letting them know kind of the price, because if you're the right coach and they're the right player, I heard a friend of mine, Slav Bittman, say, if you don't get what you want in that situation, either you didn't want it bad enough, you didn't want it as bad as you say you did, or you tried to negotiate on the price. And so if they want it as bad as they say they want it, then we have to make sure that they understand that this is the price and there's not going to be a bunch of flexibility to negotiate. You know, if I walk into the Rolls Royce dealer, they're not going to negotiate a bunch on that car. If I walk in to get a purse for my wife in the Louis Vuitton store, it's not like I'm going to the flea market. I can't go in there and start, hey, can you give me 50% off, or I got $2,500 cash, would you take it? The things that are that expensive, sometimes there's not a bunch of negotiating going on. And so in your life, changing your life is gonna be the most expensive, one of the most expensive things that you could possibly do. And so you have to understand that the price to change your life and people's lives around you, think about what that's worth. Like, it's a lot, it's high. The price is high. You have to be willing to pay that price. And so I have to remind people in the beginning, like, look, here's what the price is gonna be. And the price is usually early mornings and late nights to be great in anything, whether it's sports or business or whatever it is. Early morning, late nights if you wanna be great. And so if I start to remind them in advance, I let them know in advance what it's gonna, what price, what the cost is gonna be for admission. Those things kind of help us out along the way. And then the whole way I just keep on bringing them back to that price. And I keep on reminding them what I told them, and keep on reminding them of their vision, keep on reminding them of their why. I keep on building that relationship. Some mistakes people make is that they'll build a relationship in the beginning and they think it's done. Saying you can't do that with a marriage, you can't do that with nothing. If you don't keep working on that relationship, it's gonna die. And so we have to keep those relationships with those people the entire time, and then keep growing yourself so you can be the best coach for them. The leadership lid. You have to keep growing your lid, working on yourself so you could be a better leader, better parent for those that you lead. The last question is from Spencer Vanderhorn. Hi Simon, I was wondering, what do you believe is most important when dealing with adversity in everyday life, both professionally and personally? On the days you feel like you're being pulled in so many directions, what brings you back to center, and what advice do you have to avoid that situation? Man, great question. I think this is why so many people don't end up reaching their destiny and potential, is that they think something's wrong with them when they have all this adversity going on in their life. And really all it is, I just did a grind message on this, is gravity. You know, it's like when the Wright brothers created the airplane, every time they started to take off, there was something pulling them back down. And that's life. The more success you're going for, you're gonna have things pulling you down in life, and you gotta bust through that stuff. And so for me, what I do is it's all, for me, it's spiritual. You know, spiritually, under my biggest times of adversity, I hit my knees. Turn my heart over to the Lord. And over the years, I've learned that that's my rock and my refuge. And it's pretty much 100% of the time ended up getting me through whatever was going on in life. And so my advice would be to, when you get down, to look up and make that a part of your everyday life, spiritually. So that's what I do, and in advance, I think I train for adversity. I'm always training for adversity. So it's like, I don't know what is gonna happen, but I know there's gonna be some adversity between where I'm at and where I wanna be. And so I used to get blindsided by it. I used to get shocked by it. But now I learned that it's just part of your journey. It's part of taking it to the next level. And so I train for it every day, like a fighter would, or like a boxer would, or like a football player would. I think the problem is people are not training, and then they wonder why they get hurt. You're not training for adversity, but life is all about adversity. And so every single day, I'm training for adversity, mentally, physically, and spiritually. And this is what brings me back to center as well, is, spiritually, growing myself on a daily basis, mentally, listening to books, audio books, YouTube clips, podcasts, positivity every single day, intentionally. It's like working out your body. You have to work out your mental muscle and that adversity muscle. So when adversity strikes, boom, you're already ready. It's not like you didn't budge because you're so jacked up. Like, you're so big, you're so ready to rock. You've been training for this moment. Here it is, versus, oh crap, there's adversity, what do I do now? It's planning for this stuff, in advance. And then there's endorphins in your mind. I mean, it's just, there's scientifically proven that if you're eating clean and you're exercising, it helps you to handle stress. And so I've put yoga into my life once a week, or at least once every other week, but I try to do yoga once a week. People laugh, at me, but it's calmed me down. I know people that have gotten on medication, and they tried to put me on medication at one point for anxiety. And when I started doing this, most of the breathing issues I was having went away. And so I try to exercise, 5 days a week, whether it's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, lifting weights, yoga, and then eating healthy. And when I'm doing all of that, that centers my mind, my body, my spirit, blows off steam, and then I train in advance for the adversity and obstacles. So hopefully that helps. Thank you for the questions.